Okay, so this is the second part of rational exponents. To go through this lesson, we need to go back to some of the exponent properties that you should be familiar with from last year. Some of them we've already seen so far. Okay, so our product rule of exponents is x to the a times x to the b. When we multiply exponents that have the same base, we add the exponents. So that's going to be x to the a plus b. So for example, x to the fourth times x to the sixth power is x to the 4 plus 6, or x to the 10th power. Quotient rule of exponents. X to the a divided by x to the b. When we divide exponents with the same base, we subtract the exponents. That's going to be x to the a minus b. So for example, x to the 9th over x to the 4th is x to the 9 minus 4, which is x to the 5th. Power over product rule. So that's when we have a product xy to the z. That means we distribute the exponent to both terms inside. That's going to be x to the z power, y to the z power. So they're both going to get that exponent of z. So for example, if we had a to the 4th, b to the 3rd, to the 8th power, that a to the 4th is going to get the 8th power, and the b to the 3rd is also going to get the 8th power. And to further simplify, we're going to multiply our exponents, power raised to a power. That's a to the 4 times 8, 32nd power, b to the 3 times 8, 24th power. Lastly, when we have negative exponents, we have x to the negative y, x to some negative power. That's going to be the reciprocal of 1 over x to the positive y. So if we had x to the negative 3 power, that would be 1 over x to the positive 3 power. Or if we use a value instead of a variable, if we had 4 to the negative 3 power, that's 1 over 4 to the positive 3 power, or 1 over 64. All right. So applying this to rational exponents, the first one, v to the 2/7 times v to the 2/3. We have the same base v times base v. So when we multiply, we know that we add the exponent. So this would be v to the 2/7 plus 2/3. So we need to do some fraction stuff here. 2/7 plus 2/3. We need a common denominator, of course. Common denominator is 21, so this needs a times 3. This needs a times 7. So we have 6 21st plus 14 21st, which is 20 21st. So this is going to be v to the 20 over 21. All right. So number 2 involves the quotient rule. So we said above, when we divide with the same base, we have base y divided by base y, we subtract our exponents. So this is going to be y to the 1/2 minus 4/5. So we'll do 1/2 to the 4/5, 1/2 minus 4/5 off to the side. 1/2 minus 4/5, common denominator is 10, so that's a times 5. That's a times 2, so we have 5/10 minus 8/10, which is negative 3/10. So this is y to the negative 3/10. And by the negative exponent rule, we don't want to leave answers with negative exponents. So we're going to write this as a positive exponent as 1 over y to the positive 3/10. Okay, number 3 we're going to need to simplify the numerator using our product rule, and then we'll simplify the whole thing using the quotient rule. So in the numerator, this is going to be z to the 5 halves plus negative 1/2, or we just think of it as minus 1/2, over z to the 1/3. So that's going to be, in the numerator, z to the 4 halves, or z squared, over z to the 1/3. Now we use our quotient rule. That's going to be z to the 2 minus 1/3. And we'll write z 2 wholes is 6/3 minus 1/3. That's going to be z to the 5/3. Number 4, this is our power to a power. So this is going to be u to the 2 times 5/12. Put that over 1. That's going to be u to the 10/12, which is u to the 5/6. Okay. Number 5, we have a product to a power. So that's going to be b to the negative 3. It'll get that exponent of 3/4 times c to the 1/3, which also gets that exponent of 3/4. And then we know when we have a power to a power, we multiply our exponents. That's going to be b to the negative 3 times 3/4. That's going to be negative 9/4. B to the negative 9/4. And c to the 1/3 times 3/4. So we need to multiply 1/3 times 3/4. The 3's will cancel, so that's just 1/4. C to the 1/4. And then we can't leave the negative exponent on the b, so that's 1 over b to the 9/4 times c to the 1/4. And then to simplify, we'll turn the c to the 1/4 into a fraction, just stick it under a 1. Over a 1. So that's going to be c to the 1/4 over b to the 9/4.